It is an amazing experience to jump in an F-18 and to be able to take off and essentially strap two giant rockets to your back and accelerate 300, 400, 500 miles an hour and to blast through the clouds.
What happens when you dive the submarine under the ocean for the first time and all the hatches are closed? You realize that, you have to depend on everyone around you. There's no one else that's going to come in and save the day.
I faced my toughest challenges in Iraq. I was 24 years old. I was in charge of about 45 guys, and we were facing a significant enemy threat.
I flew helicopters. I moved people around, I moved equipment around. You kind of have to maintain composure. People were trying to attack you, but you're surrounded by a group of people that are just really good people and very supportive. You have this mission that you have to accomplish, and you're putting yourself secondary to that.
Folks in the military are often exposed to very austere conditions where things happen, and you really have to adapt on the fly and learn what you can do.
It's a very different experience living in a steel tube with 120 people that quickly become your family.
When you transition from submerged to just below the surface to where you have your periscope up so you can see. Being a junior officer, that was my favorite part of the job, just really getting good at that evolution and learning how to be comfortable in overwhelming amounts of data and being able to successfully carry out your mission.
You've got 3 radios to listen to, plus a person in the back seat, plus you're operating a radar. You're listening to oral cues for if you're being targeted by enemy radars. You've got your weapon system that you have to make sure is ready to go and ready to launch. And you're also just flying the airplane. You're going about the speed of sound.
I think it's a fallacy that officers just say take the hill and people take the hill. It's anything but. Military leadership is far more in-depth with trying to make people understand why you're doing it and then compel them to go.
As an officer in the military, pretty much from day one, you're in charge of people and you're in charge of the success or failure of a project. My last job, I was in cybersecurity, and it's a relatively new field even for the military. And one of my first projects on my cyber team was to actually make this team operational. We didn't have all the information at the time. We didn't have a clear set of guidance, which is something you come to rely on in the military. So developing that on our own, pitching that, taking the feedback, putting together a cohesive process was really one of those situations where you're out of your comfort zone.
Having to kind of build multi-dimensional teams to address really complicated problems. I think that sense of commitment and duty, a higher mission and purpose, is something that veterans really bring to the table.
One thing that comes to mind for me when I think about Veterans Day is just gratitude.
I think of service. I think of somebody that chose to put the mission and the country ahead of their own desires.
It's hard to talk about what goes on in a war.
There's a brotherhood and a sisterhood that's developed, an intangible bond that exists between every veteran, whether or not we've actually met each other. There are definitely people who haven't had the advantages that I've had, and it's incumbent upon me to make sure that I pay it forward.